So as we continue to lead up to Civil War II, what I want to do here is expand on my video about the Celestials by focusing on their history throughout the Marvel Universe. And what I'm hoping is that at the end of all this, you'll have a strong understanding of their race going into Civil War II and the actions of Ulysses as part of the Inhumans. So despite having been a mainstay in the Marvel Universe since its formation, the origin of the Celestials has remained entirely unexplained. Where stories like Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four and Marjorie Liu's astonishing X-Men number 61 have depicted the race as cosmic level and the origin of the multiverse itself, these conflicting stories represent the lack of cohesiveness regarding the origin of the Celestials and how they came to be. While their origin in and of itself is not a necessity to understand their place within the Marvel cosmos, at the very least, it would fit in nicely with the fan demand for structure in comics. That said, if we go by the information from Marjorie Liu's astonishing X-Men run, at the beginning of all things and presumably following the creation of the Living Tribunal by the One Above All, the Celestials stood as the sole occupants of all reality. Creating the multiverse and all universes within, the Celestials spent a brunt of their early years seeding life throughout the cosmos by both creating life directly, as well as expanding their own ranks by planting a celestial egg within the center of a planet, allowing it to gestate for millions of years, after which it would emerge, consuming the planet in the process. To this end, the role of Galactus as the Devourer of Worlds was deemed a necessity by the cosmic entity Eternity under the idea that Galactus was equal to the Celestials in power and consumed worlds in order to keep the Celestials themselves from overpopulating the universe. However, because the Celestials recognized the purpose of Galactus in relation to themselves, they in turn created death. Now, whether or not the Celestials created the entity Death itself or a means for which Death to act within the confines of the universe is never made clear, and in truth, we can draw our own conclusions here. But the fact remains that during this time, the Celestials came into conflict with a race called the Aspirants. Covered in Iron Man Volume 5, Issue number 13, where the origin of the Aspirants is left unexplained, writer Kieran Gillen established that the race had gone to war with the Celestials. During this conflict at the beginning of all things, while the Celestials came out as the victors, their numbers had been reduced from billions to only a handful. Following this, the Celestials entered into a structured order, traversing the universe and actively involving themselves in the evolution of various organisms. As an example, the mutants, deviants, and Eternals of Earth, as well as Thanos of the Titan Eternals, exist as byproducts of the Celestials. To sidetrack here, in the early years of Earth's existence, the Celestials traveled to Earth in the form of the first host and tested Neanderthal man by experimenting on them, creating the Deviants, Eternals, and the Mutants. Where the mutant gene would not emerge until several thousand millennia in the future, the Eternals and Deviants emerged almost immediately, engaging in a war for dominion over Earth because the Eternals sought enlightenment through the use of their vast cosmic powers. While some stayed behind, most Eternals took to the stars, leaving the Deviants to wage war on those left behind, as well as build cities and rule a majority of the Earth from their capital known as Lemuria. However, at around 18,000 BC, the Celestials had traveled to Earth in the form of a second host for the purpose of enacting the second of 4 tests on their experiments. Finding the Eternals had struck pacts of non-intervention with the Olympian gods, as well as living in tranquility on Earth, the Deviants existed at the other end of the spectrum. Viewing the Celestials as a threat to their rule, the Deviants attacked and were swiftly obliterated, with their number reduced to near zero. Taking refuge underground and abandoning their various settlements, the actions of the Deviants paved way for humanity and the Inhumans to seize control of the surface, erecting their own cities and advancing their own technologies. And something to also take note of here is that during the culling of the Deviants by Erishim the Judge, the Celestial who determined whether different species were deemed worthy or unworthy, when the second host had initially arrived, Taimu the Dreaming Celestial had witnessed the Deviants' place on Earth and their seizing control of humanity as slaves. Intending to wipe out all life and start anew, where Erishim had rebuked the order and instead orchestrated the culling of the Deviants, when Taimu had intervened, it was attacked by the other Celestials and imprisoned on Earth, where it was later discovered by Earth's inhabitants, including Mr. Sinister and Cyclops' Extinction Team during Matt Fraction's run of Uncanny X-Men. Now jumping forward to 1150 AD, give or take a bit, the first documented encounter with the Celestial by modern mutants as far as I've been able to locate in Marvel Comics came with Insaban Nur. Taking place between the emergence of his powers and his first encounter with the Time Traveler Cable, Insaban Nur had traveled the world unaware that he existed as one of a handful of individuals known as Externals, which is to say, mutants who were truly immortal and unable to die. Encountering another External named Holo Shan who had been siphoning the powers of a celestial ship while unaware of his true capabilities, After defeating Loshan and seizing control of the ship for himself, Insaban Nur remained unable to access its technologies until his battle with Cable, as it was explained in my Apocalypse video, after which Insaban Nur had gained access to the ship and came face to face with Isan the Searcher. Existing as one of the Celestials that wiped out the deviant capital of Lemuria, as well as the Celestial who appeared in the Guardians of the Galaxy film, Isan's conversation with Insaban Nur offered a pact that if Nur chose to use the Celestial technology for himself, he would go forward as one of the most powerful beings on Earth, but experience pain beyond imagining at some point in the future. Where Insaban Nur would accept the offer and go on to become one of the X-Men's most deadly foes, the third host of the Celestials arrived following the induction of Earth into the World Tree of Idrisil by the Asgardians. Because this era of Asgardian history had seen Odin coming into the position of king, the primitive nature of humanity gave way to belief in godly presences, chief among them being the Asgardians and the Olympians. Where the Olympians use Olympus as the portal to their realm accessible only by those with the blood of gods, Asgard had formed the Bifrost Bridge and included Earth as part of its cosmic pantheon. Viewing the role of Asgard as being powerful enough to influence the lives of humanity, guiding them to future advancement as opposed to letting humans evolve on their own, the third host of the Celestials appeared during Thor Annual number 7, removing his knowledge of the Deviants and Eternals, as well as warning the Asgardians not to intervene lest they be destroyed. Following this, the Celestials visited Earth for a fourth time, intending to use the fourth host to determine whether or not life on Earth should continue or be destroyed. While the Asgardians and other earthly gods maintained the pact of non-intervention, because Earth served as part of the World Tree of Idrisil, which would have collapsed and severed all connections to the 9 realms had Earth been destroyed, Odin, alongside Heimdall and Gaia, the biological mother of Thor and the physical manifestation of Earth itself, had presented 9 individuals referred to as the Young Gods, who represented the best of humanity within the confines of the mental, moral, emotional, and physical sphere. Judging the Earth worthy of continued survival in that the Young Gods represented humanity's capability of advancement into the upper echelon of the universal pantheon, the presence of the 4 celestial hosts went on to reveal that instead of outright creating mutants per se, instead, the Celestials had manipulated the genes of early humanity, providing the potential for genetic mutants to take effect. While this bit of information was left ambiguous in Marvel Comics regarding the purpose of the Celestials within the universe itself, in 1997, as part of the Heroes Reborn and Heroes Return events, after having created a pocket universe and resurrecting the heroes who died during their battle with Onslaught, Franklin Richards encountered Ashima the Celestial, who had taken human form, revealing that Franklin's vast reality warping powers had not only resurrected the dead heroes within a universe he had created, but that Franklin himself was the pinnacle of the celestial experiments on humankind. That said, whether it was because Marvel had been in the process of introducing newer concepts or else because there was no real place for them within the goings-on of Earth, as far as I've been able to tell, the Celestials remained completely absent from the earthly landscape. Instead, the race made a majority of their appearances within both Neil Gaiman and Charles Knopf's runs of Eternals in Volumes 3 and Volume 4 respectively, both of which went on to introduce concepts like the Fulcrum, a presumed aspect of the One Above All, and the idea that Celestials meet with the Fulcrum during their deaths as part of their journey to the afterlife. Now, where much of this remains ambiguous, even if it was only for the purpose of offering a catalyst to expand on the relationship between Reed and Franklin, Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four Future Foundation event introduced the notion that Celestials experience emotion in the same capacity as humans and are capable of falling prey to those feelings. Taking place in Future Foundation number 14, titled 27 Minutes, following the introduction of the Council of Reeds as a multiversal conglomerate of Reed Richards who all came together for the purpose to solve the problem of everything, the nexus of reality was invaded by the mad Celestials of Earth 4280, who had come to view themselves as gods. Seizing control of their own reality and looking to take over the multiverse, the mad Celestials invaded the Earth 616 continuity, leading to the arrival of Franklin Richards from the future, where he transformed Galactus into his herald. However, aside from this bit of expansion, within the pages of Avengers Volume 5 and New Avengers Volume 3 as part of Hickman's lead-up to Secret Wars, the absence of the Celestials beyond the Future Foundation and Fantastic Four stories was explained by way of the revelation that the Beyonders of Wild Space had systematically been entering universes and wiping them out entirely, including the Celestials. Covered in New Avengers Volume 3, issue number 30, with Reed Richards having tasked Hank Pym with traveling to the multiverse in an effort to prevent its collapse, Hank Pym had stumbled across a last-ditch battle between the Beyonders and all of the remaining cosmic entities of the multiverse. Wiping out all of the entities, including the Celestials and eventually the Living Tribunal, when the collapse of the multiverse occurred with Secret Wars issue number 0 leading into the introduction of Battleworld and the main Secret Wars event, at its conclusion going into all new, all different Marvel, all-new Galactus' conversation with Molecule Man provided no indication of the Celestials' return following the Multiverse's recreation by Molecule Man, Franklin Richards, and Reed. To this end, while the Ultimates comics under Al Ewing and Kenneth Rocafort would see the reappearance of Thanos as a catalyst for introducing Ulysses of the Inhumans, who had the power to see the future, one of his visions came in the form of the Celestial Destructor of another reality who had entered Earth using a rift in space. Providing this information to S.H.I.E.L.D. and SWORD, the Sentient World Observation and Response Department, the combined forces of the Inhumans, the Ultimates, the Avengers, and various other heroes allowed for a distraction while Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and the Mystics of the Marvel Universe used their abilities to return the Destructor to his home reality and seal the breach, leading into the official start of Civil War II. With that being said, we're going to bring this video to an end, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.